Lord, you will show us the path of life. This is the responsorial psalm for the third Sunday of Easter, which was taken from Psalm 16. And it was also quoted by Peter in his first sermon when he spoke about the good news of Jesus Christ. We heard that in our first reading taken from the book of the Acts of the Apostles. So it was Pentecost. After receiving the Holy Spirit, Peter went out to the people. He spoke to the Jews who were in Jerusalem, and he started to proclaim to them the good news, or we call the kerygma. The kerygma is the proclamation of the good news. And what is the good news? Jesus Christ. That is the gospel. Jesus Christ. His life, his miracles, his words, his signs, and his passion, his death, and his going down to the realm of the dead, and also his exaltation through his resurrection and ascension. The life of Jesus. And so Peter showed and spoke to the people about this path of life that Jesus showed us. That those who will believe in him, that all the faithful who will come to believe in him will go through this same path. That he will not leave us into the netherworld. And that is part of the prayer of David in his Psalms. And here we read, I saw the Lord ever before me, with him at my right hand, I shall not be disturbed. Therefore my heart has been glad, and my tongue has exulted. My flesh too will dwell in hope, because you will not abandon my soul to the netherworld, nor will you suffer your Holy One to see corruption. You have made known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence. So that is what David was saying in his prayer, in his psalm, that God has showed him the path of life, that he, being a holy one, will not experience corruption. But Peter was telling the people, we know where David died. His body is here. You know, we know where we can find his body. His body went through corruption. But this passage that David was praying in the psalm actually points to the resurrection of Jesus, a descendant of David, the Messiah. And Jesus' body, though he may experience death, did not experience corruption. When he died, he went to the realm of the dead, not to experience corruption, but to proclaim the good news to the dead and tell them, especially to those who have been righteous in their lives, righteous in following the laws of God, to tell them the good news that salvation had been won for them also. So, that is what happened. That is what our faith tells us. And so, this is the path of life that Jesus is showing us. That life does not end with death. That those who are with him, those who believe in him, those who follow his ways, we too will experience his resurrection. That our lives will not end up in the netherworld, that our lives will not experience corruption, we will not be left to be corrupted, but with him we will also resurrect. And this resurrection is not just a resurrection of our soul, but it is also a resurrection of our bodies, just like him. We will be awaiting for that reunion of our soul and our body. And that is what Jesus' bodily resurrection is teaching us. That is the path of life. So we have to believe. We have to have faith to connect our lives with Jesus so that our lives will be full of hope. It does not end with death. It does not end with suffering and death. It goes beyond physical death because we know our bodies will be reunited once again, just as Jesus' body resurrected, ours too will resurrect.